AITA for not letting my friend wear my engagement ring. Okay, a little bit of backstory here. My fiance and I have been engaged for about 3 weeks. He got me the most bow today I fucked up a ring that is exactly what I have always wanted, and it fits me perfectly. The only time I take my ring off is to apply lotion to my hands. I work in the medical field, which means lots of hand washing, sanitizing, and cleaning, so my hands get super dry, and when I do that, I keep it directly in front of me on my desk and within sight at all times. I have never had any sort of issue until a couple days ago. I have a co-worker with whom I am friendly. Let's call her T. We used to be very close until I figured out that she and I lead very different lives, and I don't necessarily jive with her morals. Whatever, live and let live. I let a little bit of distance form between us. But we are still friendly and still talk at the office, so naturally I told her that I was engaged and she asked to see my ring. She oohed and ahed at it like most other people in the office, and I didn't think much about it. But a couple of days ago, she approached my desk while I was putting lotion on my hands, with my ring laying directly in front of me as usual. Without asking, she reached down and picked up my ring and slipped it onto her own finger instead, holding it up and admiring it, etc. I was flabbergasted. I didn't even know what to say, and I was so shocked that I just sat there in uncomfortable silence until she made a comment about how it looked so good on her, and I commented, "Don't go getting any ideas." Trying to be light-hearted but also wanting my ring back. She eventually took it off and handed it back to me and left. I was super uncomfortable with the whole thing, but I put it off thinking I was being too sensitive. Today, I was walking past her desk and she asked to see my ring. I held out my hand for her to look at it, and she began to remove the ring from my finger, so I pulled my hand back. She got pouty and asked why she couldn't take it off and see it, since I had let her before. I told her I had not let her do that before. She had grabbed it without permission and put it on without even asking if I minded. She rolled her eyes at me and said I was being ridiculous. I feel like I am justified to be protective of a ring that represents my fiance's love for me. AITA. Edit. Just to be clear, T is not gay, although it would in no way bother me if she was. She was married to a man, the father of her children, when I first met her, and as I got to know her better I found out she had a lot of side guys while still married and still expecting her husband to take care of her. I was being intentionally vague about it before, because I didn't feel like it was relevant to the story, but since everyone seems very concerned, I'm happy to share why I began to distance from her. NTA. If she wants to try on engagement rings, then she can go to a jewelry store. Why anyone would think it's okay to just grab someone else's ring and put on is beyond me. NTA, I also realize you have to still work with this rude, entitled lady, so tell her it's bad luck to try on someone else's engagement or wedding ring. Someone tried to do this to me and I told her the same. We really do believe this. Nope, nope, nope. NTA? Question mark. First, you don't ask to try on someone else's engagement ring. Second, you absolutely do not try on someone else's engagement ring without asking. Third, who TF tries to remove someone else's engagement ring from their finger? Exclamation mark. If one of my close friends wanted to try on my ring, I'd be okay with it, but I have never in my life had someone physically try to remove jewelry from my person. What the fuck? And after putting on my ring without asking? No, no, no. Don't like it. NTA. It feels like she's going to take it. Would you be up for wearing it on a necklace at work? That's what I did when I worked in a hospital lab. Because of all the hand washing and on and off with gloves, my ring would sometimes snag gloves and rip them. I was hoping someone would suggest this. I worked with a lot of nurses, and the amount of times I'd see their rings go right through a glove, I could never understand why they didn't put them on a chain during work. AITA for telling my cousin. At least I know my parents wanted me when she kept making comments about me not being family. Some backstory: I, F17, was adopted when I was 3 months old. My cousin, 17F, is my grandparents' only bio-grandchild, but she seems to be the only one that cares about that. She doesn't like me because I got a full scholarship to a performing arts school and she didn't get accepted, and when my grandpa gave us his cars I got the better one. We had a family dinner last week and my grandparents asked about my BF. My grandma jokingly asked when we're getting married because she wants a great-grandchild. I laughed and said it'll be a while, and my cousin cut in and said they probably want a real great-grandchild anyway. I brushed it off and kept talking to my grandma. When we were about to have dessert, my grandpa realized he forgot to get ice cream, asked me to drive into town and buy some. My cousin made another comment about how she's the only real family member, so she should have gotten the good car. My grandpa told her to shut up and that I got the new car because I help them out and come to visit them almost every day and she doesn't. After dessert, my grandpa said we should take my sister, 14, to the backyard and teach her how to drive the golf cart. I agreed and told her I was driving that thing into town to run errands all the time when I was her age. My grandpa then told her maybe if she likes driving it he'll give it to her. My cousin lost it. She started screeching that it's not fair that we get everything and we're not even their real family. That pissed me off because she said it in front of my youngest sister, 4, and made her cry, so I snapped at her and said at least we know our family wanted us. Cousin screamed and stormed off and my sisters got more ice cream. My grandparents think that was hilarious and I was totally in the right. My dad also thinks I'm in the right, but my mom thinks that was mean and I should apologize, so I wanted to know if I was the asshole. NTA. What does your family do when she makes those comments? If they ignore her, then they're all slightly are, because that's not okay even though they don't treat you differently. My dad and grandparents usually ignore the first one but try to shut it down the second time. Her parents and my mom don't do anything. NTA. How long can she continue to be disrespectful before someone snapped at her? She got what she deserved and it wasn't like you were overly mean to her. She honestly just sounds spoiled rotten. Just like Joker said, you get what you fucking deserve. NTA. Good job for defending your family. Your mom is right. It was mean. It was also justified and the appropriate response to someone who was being deliberately provocative and cruel. Your mom may be like my grandmother, a peacekeeper through and through. Peacekeepers like this can be wonderful to have in families, but they can also rug sweep for the sake of peace, which isn't okay. That said, it sounds like your cousin actually has more of a beef with your grandparents than with you. She's taking it out on you, but it sounds like she resents the strained relationship she has with them and it hurts her to be pushed aside. She may have no one to blame but herself, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt her. NTA. And good on you, op. No one has the right to make you feel like you're not part of that family. Your grandparents and parents sound like amazing people. AITA for refusing to have a pink bedroom again. Hi guys. I am 15F, my dad is 31 meters, stepmom, Anna, is 29F, stepsister, Zoe, is 8F. We are in the UK. I was born when my parents were just 16, and my egg donor did a runner before I turned 1. I don't know her now. Dad, well, he did the best he could as a young single father, but we've lived in a small 2-bed flat and not had much money for as long as I can remember. So Dad and Anna married 2 years ago but stayed living in separate homes as Anna was a carer for her disabled mum. Pre-COVID, I was out of the house a lot and never really cared much about my room, which had childish pink walls with hearts on. During the first lockdown I became quite down and unhappy and eventually decided to overhaul my room completely to feel more like me and spent some of my savings on paint and new sheets and stuff. I put grey on 3 walls and did a geometric design in shades of blue on the 4th. It's a lot more grown up and I felt a lot more comfortable spending all my time in my new space. Sadly, Anna's mum passed away mid-January. At the end of February, Anna and Zoe moved into our tiny flat, and I had to share my room with Zoe. I didn't complain about it, about half my small space now being toys, about suddenly becoming a full-time big sister. We had to swap my bed for bunk beds, and because Zoe is afraid of heights I had to take the top bunk. I haven't even complained that I can no longer sit upright on my bed. We are going to move into a 3-bed at some point, but until then, this is the situation. I am not happy but accept it. But Zoe isn't happy and is too young/immature. She's 8, I get it, to accept it. Zoe cries for her old room back. Anna wants to paint my boat today. I fucked up a new room back to the pink I used my own money to cover up, and I'm refusing to let her. Dad says he will pay to paint my room the same in the new house when we move. I say they can paint Zoe's room in the new house too. Anna is saying I'm being childish and nagging at Dad to make me change my mind, but Dad is stuck between us and privately says he gets it, that I've had to put up with so much, but won't stand up to Anna on my behalf. I've offered compromises. They can paint if I can take the bottom bunk and put curtains around it so I'm not surrounded by fucking pink again, or leave it as it is and put pink curtains around Zoe's bunk so she is surrounded by pink. Both ideas got shot down as me being stubborn for the sake of it. I think I've latched onto my walls as the last bit of control I have, and I don't think it's fair at all to force me to give every bit of my home up for Zoe. They didn't actually have to move in yet, and could have waited until we had the bigger house to merge our families. Basically, I think Anna is being an asshole for having zero consideration for the fact she and Zoe have invaded my life, home, and room, and that I've put up with it all except for this. All my friends are on my side, but I know they are biased. NTA. Zoe being upset might have more to do with the fact that she lost her room right after her grandmother died. She went from living in a house just with her mother and grandmother to suddenly being in a totally different place with different people. She lost more than just a room. Painting your room pink isn't going to change that. Anna spent years caring for her disabled mother and moved out a month after she died. She might have had the time to process what was happening and thus was able to move on. But Zoe is 8. You and Zoe are also at different stages in life, and this move seems to have not been very well thought out. They need to talk with Zoe to see how she's really doing. Crying for her old room is likely more about other things than just pink walls. You have put up with a lot of change and seem to be handling it very maturely. You shouldn't be asked to give up more when they are the ones who decided to move in together before everyone was ready. Hang in there. Talk to your father about your concern for Zoe, remind him you are 15 and have given up your privacy, safety. You're going to hurt yourself if you get startled and sit up in the middle of the night, and some sanity for her. You took the time to paint your room so that you could feel better. Taking that away is only trading something that made you happy for a possible band-aid for Zoe. NTA. Money for you to paint another room is not going to fix the time and effort you will have put into painting 2 rooms and not getting to even enjoy one. Also, I think stepmom is assuming that pink will help Zoe, but she has no evidence I can see that it will. Zoe is understandably overwhelmed at living with a new person, but so are you. Just because she's too young to handle those emotions doesn't make hers more valid than yours. If Zoe wants some pink on the walls, then maybe paint the walls just around her bed, or do an arch by her dresser. Something small. Curtains I think are a great idea. Still, I think everyone needs to realize that no amount of paint is going to make blending a family easy, and there are other things that need to be actually addressed here, not painted over. NTA. I have to say I'd be so impressed with your compromise ideas and your acceptance of everything if I were Anna. Tell your father you have done your part. Now it's time to do his and point out to Anna, in your defense, how you have accepted her daughter into your room without complaint when you could have been a total pain in the ass about it. So instead of pushing you into resenting her and her daughter, she should accept one of your compromise solutions because it's she who is being stubborn, not you.